Morning, good afternoon, and good evening. As always, thank you for checking into the Grape Finance Weekly AMA recap video. I'm here to cover some of the questions from our AMA call this week and also just share with you guys some of the updates from the Grape project over the last 10 days since our last update video. The first thing I need to talk about, though, guys, is there's really no hiding it. There's no sugarcoating it. As you all know, it's been an absolutely brutal week in the markets. The crypto market cap in total is down about 30%. And you have to take my word for it. We can go to our last Grape recap video and see that the figure right there was almost 2 trillion, 1.87, and now we're down to 1.33. So a real significant decline there. And it's been brutal out there. A lot of it's been led by obviously Luna collapsing, and so our condolences and our sympathy go out to anybody in the Grape community and just the larger crypto community who's lost money on the Luna collapse. Obviously, that was brutal, and I had money in Luna, so let's try to make this a lesson that we learned from, and it was expensive, so let's not have to pay that tuition twice. Even though, as we all understand, there really shouldn't be a link between Grape and Luna. There's no Grape-UST LPs or Grape Luna LPs out there. But as we all saw, a crash of that magnitude really shakes faith in the market. So it's natural that Grape was also affected. We can see on the stats page here that we did lose our peg briefly earlier this week for a period of, I want to say, about 3 epochs here, and then recovered it quite healthily there. So congratulations to anybody who managed to make a Grape node around these prices. You got a Grape price. And, naturally, whenever Grape depegs for a little bit, wine is also going to suffer more significantly than Grape, being a more volatile asset. And that's to be expected. On the bright side of that, we do have a significant amount of the wine liquidity now owned by the protocol. This is standing at about 410,000. Definitely less than it was last week. We can see last week there was about 830,000, so over double, and this is really where a lot of the selling has happened, which, we don't ever like to see people selling their Grape finance assets, but we do like to see people taking profit as responsibly as possible. There's no point comparing ourselves to other projects, but as we all know, it's been an extremely volatile period in the space. So we're proud of our community for protecting the peg. Our circulating supply is now actually over 2.1 million, and a lot of that is thanks to the community members who purchased bonds and redeemed them, the community members who've made Grape nodes. It's really fantastic. It's a hell of an achievement, guys, to see a circulation of over 2 million with such a strong peg. So everybody should be proud of themselves and excited about the future of the project. And at this point, there's really no way I can avoid mentioning the beautiful new UI introduced. This is the dark mode UI. I was a fan of the old pixel art, but this definitely has more polish, more modern feel to it, and it does rest your eyes a little bit. I've also been told it's more romantic, so there's that. We hope everybody enjoys the new UI. And of course, the NFT reward pool estimator. This is a beautiful feature that's basically going to let you see exactly how much is sitting in the NFT reward pool wallet to be airdropped out. You can also check that wallet up here in the nose rewards. You can also see our treasury and DAO wallets. So that's just a little bit of transparency, trying to encourage trust. So if we go into the reward calculator, you can see a little bit of information about how the NFTs give you 1, 3, 9, or 30 tickets, and basically each one of your nodes is going to be 1 ticket. So we got to remember that you need to have at least 1 node and at least one of any of the NFT types to receive the airdrop. Say, for example, I had 10 nodes and 1 goon bag, which is actually exactly what I have. You can see that I would be airdropped about $22 worth of Grape and wine this month. Now, the interesting thing about this is that we can see that this is counting all of the tickets from all of the NFTs and also all of the tickets from all of the nodes that are existing so far. If we assume, which is a very safe assumption, that not every single node holder is holding an NFT and not necessarily every single NFT holder is holding a node, there are definitely going to be some people who have some of the nodes in these ticket calculations who don't qualify. So, that just means that we could see a little bit of a juicier airdrop than what's being calculated here. But overall, this is just a really cool way to be able to kind of keep track of what's available in that airdrop wallet. We don't have an airdrop timer yet. We know that we've seen plenty of one airdrop posts in the Discord, and we understand that it's something everybody's excited about. For now, it's important to just remember that NFT airdrop awards happen every month, and you need to have at least one node and one NFT to qualify for the airdrop. Okay, that is going to wrap up general updates, and I'm just going to move on to some of our community questions from the call this week. The first one is actually a really astute question that I want to talk about, kind of in the context of the whole Luna collapse, and that's just, will lending and borrowing provide an opportunity for people to short Grape? We can see that LB is essentially saying that borrowing Grape is not going to be allowed in the initial rollout of lending and borrowing, because obviously borrowing and then selling and then rebuying at a lower price is how you profit off a short position, how you take advantage of the price of an asset falling. We don't want to encourage investors or even allow investors to open this kind of position, because we've seen how extremely damaging short positions can be on a protocol in the case of the Terra Luna collapse. So that's something that LB is going to keep an extremely close eye on, and I just want to give a shout out, because that is a fantastic question, and it shows just the level of savvy in the Grape community, and it's beautiful to see. The next question that I want to mention is about new nodes. Initially, there was some talk of LP nodes alongside wine and Grape nodes. So essentially, that's been shelved for now, because the Grape nodes themselves have been super effective. We talked about how they're a great device for allowing investors to profit off Grape being under peg by noding their Grape. It's like a little bit of a more long-term rewarding option than buying just bonds. The Grape MIM LP nodes will be introduced alongside the Swapsicle Grape MIM pair. So Swapsicle, we've talked about this before, is the new DEX launching on Avalanche. Grape MIM will be one of the first pairs available on Swapsicle, and it's going to provide Grape investors an opportunity to break your Trader Joe LP, take it over to Swapsicle, make Swapsicle Grape MIM LP, and then use that Swapsicle Grape MIM LP token to make a node on the Grape site. So at that point, if you choose to do that, you'll be earning both Grape rewards from the Grape website, and you'll be earning P-Pops rewards from the Swapsicle DEX. Now, P-Pops are going to be emitted over the course of a year. There's a fixed emission schedule for those. A big majority of P-Pops are going out to emissions. So I'm a fan of this project. I think their tokenomics are equitable and pretty innovative. And I think this is a great opportunity for the community to benefit from this new, our third node option that's coming out. So that's exciting stuff, and thank you for the question. Just some more general crypto industry questions, as well as some chat about the Terra Luna collapse. So our first question is, how can we get into the DeFi industry without the knowledge of being able to code? And we had some interesting answers from that. I think probably the most succinct advice came from our lead designer, Space Games with Dave. And, he just explained that he never learned how to code, but he has worked with a ton of successful DeFi projects, Liquid Capital, Grape Finance, and that's, just using his design skills, finding a creative way to make his graphic design skills a useful asset for the project. And as our lead dev, LB, mentioned, for a DeFi project to be successful, it has to be a group effort, and you have to really run it like a business with different branches. So obviously coding is a vital and crucial part of a DeFi operation, but we rely on our graphic designers, we rely on our community managers, we rely on our Discord mods, and so that being said, if you have any creative skills or you're just interested in contributing to the Grape community, the Grape Discord is an awesome place to come hang out. That's how I ended up making these AMAs. That's how our community manager, Nikki, ended up hosting these AMAs. So it's really just a fantastic resource, guys. I can't urge you enough to come and stop by the Grape Discord to say hi, pick up some skills, pick up some DeFi knowledge. Okay, our next general question is, what are our thoughts on the Luna-UST situation? And I've tried to really summarize some of our thoughts from the team here, I really encourage you to come and read the full article if you're someone who is affected by the collapse. Our thoughts go out to anybody who was hurt during this collapse. We understand that if people have been overinvested, if people hadn't been aware of the risks, myself included, it was easy to lose money in a situation like this, and it obviously happened to a lot of us. So it's important not to take it too hard, but at the same time, there's always lessons to learn from something like this. And I think the most important thing that was mentioned was that we always encourage investors in Grape to diversify your holdings, keep some funds available to dollar cost average, and obviously on a mental health note, try to avoid being overinvested. Think about your personal finances, not just in crypto and not just in the stock market, but try your best to get yourself in a position where losing out on one of your investments is not going to be, a real blow to your comfort or your security or your mental health. So, that's always something we encourage in Grape is just responsible investing. And like I said, if you want to talk some more about investing responsibly, this is the place to do it. These are smart investors. This is a community of people that wants to see each other succeed. So stop by. And finally, we have another astute question about the sort of landscape of the DeFi industry, which is just that how do you think this Luna crash will affect the DeFi industry? Do you see any change poised to fill the void? And I think that LBR Dev made some great points about how this collapse, might affect confidence in other decentralized stablecoins like USDD or USN on the Near protocol chain. He mentions that Terra will probably come back, but obviously there's been some faith lost there. And as always, we're bullish on Avalanche. We believe Avalanche to be, essentially the superior ETH fork, the superior DAG on the market. Subnets have really done a lot for keeping gas down, even in these crazy times this past week. So we're happy to be on Avalanche. We have belief in the future of the Avalanche chain. We're going to keep working to make Grape into a project that, is resilient and a little more independent of some of this turmoil that seems to be a little too common in the crypto space. It's because we're trying to build a protocol that's sustainable, that can deliver reliable yields, and that will continue to grow sort of regardless of some of the volatility out there. So thank you guys for sort of contributing to that vision and for supporting each other. I'm going to make one last shill for our Discord server because, like I said, there's a ton of great people in here. Overall, though, thank you guys so much for checking in. Stay safe out there. It's turbulent times in the market, but Grape is here to stay. So I'll catch you next week.